Welcome to A Roots Me'ir. I'm your host, Yeheska Lang, and we're back again with best-selling author and educator, Rabbi David Aaron of Israelite. Welcome to the show again, Rabbi Aaron.
Great to be back.
Good to see you again. I've been reading your book, The God-Powered Life, The Kabbalah of Awakening and Purpose, yes. A great book. A lot of interesting concepts in here. I've been learning a lot from it. I especially was interested in talking to you about the first chapter. You are infinitely more than you think. Are you, Rabbi, infinitely more than you think?
Well, growing up, I thought it was short, so I'd like to always think big, right?
Yes.
But yeah, you are infinitely more than you think. You know, like when I sometimes, and maybe you can relate to this, I go through a long day, worked really hard. I get home and I'm really hungry. And I open up the refrigerator door and it's full. The fridge is full. And yet for some reason, no, do I want the tuna casserole? No. Do I want the sap? No. Do I want the yesterday's meatloaf? No. And like, there's this like strange thing where there's food and I'm hungry and yet nothing there seems to speak to me.
Couldn't you just order out at that point?
But I just don't know what it is.
Right.
And then I close the door. Have you ever experienced yourself closing the door and walking away and just coming back a minute later and opening the door again?
That happens to me about 20 times a day.
Right. As if some little, some little elf put new stuff in there. And then you go through the same routine.
Yeah.
Well, do I want, no, do I want this? When we do that, what that means is what we're looking for is not in the refrigerator. Because what we're really looking for is in the freezer. I'm just joking. Okay. You see, what we're looking for is not something to eat. We are hungry. And we have this infinite thirst for the infinite. Because we're souls, deep inside, we have a sense that we're connected to a power much greater than ourselves. And so this book that I wrote called The God-Powered Life is really how to find a connection and personal transformation and empowerment through connecting to God, through connecting to the power that created us.
I got to say, I find that a little bit depressing.
Oh,
because
yeah?
if our hunger is infinite, then there's no way we'll ever satisfy it.
Ah, that's a great question. The goal is the journey. Mm-hmm. In fact, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but I have, where I had this goal and I was writing a book and I worked so hard to get to the book and I finally got the book printed and I saw the first cover and I had a moment of joy and then I felt sad. Wow. Because I want another journey. We love to travel. Spiritually, we love to travel. We are mountain climbers. And imagine you got this guy climbing a mountain and a friend, and it's been like a couple of days. And a friend comes by in a helicopter. He says, "Hey, what's your goal?" And he says, "The top of the mountain." And the guy says, well, how long have you been climbing? He says, "It's been 2-3 days now." He says, "Well, look at you. You're all sweaty and you're all achy. Why don't you just get into my helicopter and I could take you up in 20 minutes?" Would he do it? No. So then he made a mistake. He thought that the top of the mountain was the goal, but it wasn't. It's the climb. So, there's an idea in Kabbalah that we get a taste of the infinite so that we will infinitely thirst to come closer and closer and closer. It says, Yismach lev mivakesh Hashem. Mivakesh Hashem.
Right.
Happy is the heart that seeks God, but not who finds God.
Right. Wow.
In other words, if you found God, that's actually one of the explanations that when Moses
right.
saw the burning bush, it says he turned away. So there's a great rabbi by the name of Rabbi Charlap who explains that he was afraid that he found God.
Wow.
And then his journey would be over.
Wow.
Right? And so the journey towards greater awareness and greater consciousness, it's like love. Like love is a journey. Imagine, you wake up one morning, there beside you is your soulmate, and you say to her, "Sweetie, I love you, and you love me." She says, "That's right." He said, "Well, then, now what are we going to do?" Right? I mean, love is a journey. It's not a destination. So, too, we are infinitely more than we can ever think, because we are a journey. We are an endless process, a work in progress. We love to grow. We need to grow. We love adventure.
Okay, so in your book, how do you help us connect to that infinite side of us? What do you talk about?
Well, the first thing is to get in touch with who you are. This itself, to realize that I'm a mountain climber and that I love to grow is critical, because a lot of people are unhappy because they've got the wrong expectations of what really makes you happy.
Okay.
You know, so it's like a guy who wanted to be a doctor, and he said, the day I'll be a doctor, I'll be happy. And so he's just waiting and waiting. He's got years and years of school, and he sees, well, okay, this is the price I have to pay to be a doctor, but I know that when I'll be a doctor, I'll be happy.
Right.
But then it's graduation day, and he doesn't understand why he's not excited. He was so waiting for this moment, and yet for some reason he's feeling challenged. He's feeling somewhat sad.
Yep.
And then he's about to get that diploma. He's filled with this new spirit of excitement. He gets off the stage, his Buppy, his Zadie, his grandfather, grandmother's there. He says, oh, Mazel Tov, you're a doctor. And he says, you know what, I realized I don't want to be a doctor. And he said, what, you don't want to be a doctor? What do you mean you don't want to be a doctor?
Yeah.
He says, I realized I want to become a foot specialist. We love to grow because that's who we are. And so the first, really the secret to everything is to get in touch with who you really, really are.
Okay, how do we do that?
Well, part of it has to be, I use this little metaphor all the time. Imagine you were a toaster, but you forgot that you were a toaster.
Okay.
And so you'd have this deep intuition that I come to this world to do something, and you start kind of on this journey of looking, and you say, well, maybe I could be a bookend. I could hold books, but that just doesn't feel right because I can hold books, but for some reason I feel I could do a lot more. And I said, you know what, really, I feel that I could be hot. I'm hot. And people, I think I could be hot. Maybe I could burn CDs. Mm-hmm. Well, so he tries to burn CDs, and they melt inside him, and that doesn't feel right. We are who we are, and we just have to discover and become aware of who we are. So imagine the spiritual
How do we become aware of who we are?
Well, so imagine the spiritual journey of a toaster. So the first thing he's got to get in touch is, what do I do really well? What do I really do well? Well, I'm hot. I know how to be hot, right? And that's one of the first things people have to know, that Hashem, God, gave us certain talents. I was given the ability to speak in public. It's a gift. It's not something I worked for. It's not something I've even practiced. It's just a gift, and I should just humbly be thankful for this gift, right? So when I was a kid, I thought, well, I knew that I am comfortable on stage.
But why does God not let us be born in the sense that we know immediately who we are? Why do we have to search for ourselves?
Because the prize is in the surprise. You see, if I were a toaster, and I was always a toaster, and I couldn't be but a toaster, would I have the joy of being a toaster? I don't even know what it means to be anything other than a toaster.
Right.
Imagine you were rich.
Right.
And you were always rich. You lived in a rich city. Everybody you ever met were rich. All the movies that you saw and all the books that you read were about rich people. You never experienced poverty. You don't even know what it means to grow up with poverty. One of the celebrities that I had an opportunity to teach Torah to was a man named Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas, the actor, legendary actor, we're sitting in his Hollywood home, actually in Beverly Hills. And he once turned to me and he said, Rabbi, I have such an appreciation for my home because I grew up in a home where there were 12 people in the home, 12 members of the family, and we could afford one egg for everybody. So I experienced poverty. I gave my sons everything, but there's a gift that I couldn't give them that my parents gave me, and that was the gift of poverty.
Right.
He said, because I couldn't give my kids poverty, but my parents gave me poverty, and so now I know and I enjoy and I delight in what I've been able to accomplish in my life. So if you came into this world and you were a toaster, and you knew you were a toaster, how much would you really enjoy it? So the journey, which is so interesting, is to become who we already are.
Wow. Okay, and how do we go about doing that?
Well, it goes back to, let's look at the attributes that we've been gifted,
But there's, of course, career-wise and material-wise, and there's spiritual-wise. How do we go about spiritual-wise finding out who we are?
Well, one thing is you take a big piece of paper and you start writing down what you think is great about you? Okay. What do you think is great about you? Ask other people, right? People who like you, right?
Okay.
What do you think is great about me?
Right. What about why should we be humble and write about what's not great about us, what's wrong about us?
Because that's very easy.
Really?
Sadly enough, people find what's not great about us much quicker than what's great about us.
Really?
Yes, Rav Yisrael Salanter once said that we're like carpenters. A carpenter, we need to know what's great and also what's not great. He says a carpenter that doesn't know where the knot is in the wood, right, is just going to go right into it. He's going to cut right into the knot in the wood and he's going to damage the piece of wood. So he has to know what's not good. But a carpenter that doesn't know what's good is a carpenter that doesn't have tools. In other words, you need to know what's good about you. You need to know what's not good about you, what you need to fix, and what you need to master.
Okay, so start with the positive, you said.
Start with the positive, because you got to get into a positive state of mind. You start writing this long list of all the things you're bad about, you'll get so depressed you won't continue to write.
I agree.
So the first thing to do, and it's sad enough, I think most people, when they write down their list, they have a harder time being able to say, well, I'm really great at this. I'm really great at this. And of course, thank you, be humble about it, be grateful for it. But if you've got the power to speak, then speak up, right? But on the other hand, these are the things that I'm really challenged in, that I'm really not good in. So, I heard a beautiful metaphor by a rabbi, I can't pull his name right now, Rabbi Tatz. And he said a beautiful thing. He said, it's like, imagine you get to a construction site and you don't know what you're doing there. So they give you this bag, right? And so I look in my bag and I take out a saw. And then I take out a hammer and I go, oh, I got it. I'm a carpenter. So you look in your bag and you see there's a screwdriver and there's testers and wires and fuses and you go, oh, I get it. I'm an electrician. Right?
Okay.
So Hashem, God gave us a bag. In it are tools or strengths. But I would like to add to that metaphor something that the rabbi didn't say, maybe because of who he was speaking to at the time, is there's something deeper in the bag.
Okay.
You got to go deep in
bag.
there. And in this bag is garbage, right?
Garbage in the bag.
And you say, what is this? What is doing? I'm a carpenter, and why is there garbage in my bag?
Yeah.
Because that's what you need to fix. We've come to this world to use our strengths to fix our weaknesses. And so part of who we are isn't just what's great about us, but what's not so great about us. And what is it about us that's not so great that we can and need to work on? And when we realize that we've come to repair, then we won't be upset when we find things that are broken. Because if you're a repairman, you love to fix things.
So we're all basically at heart repairmen.
Absolutely.
Who don't know we're repairmen, maybe.
Yeah, imagine you get to an amusement park and you're very happy because there's nobody there and you think, well, I can get onto all the rides. You go to the ride and you see it's broken. You say, this is crazy. You go to another ride, it's broken.
Right.
Then someone runs up and you say, oh, I'm so happy you're here. He said, why? He says, well, you're a repairman. I said, I'm a repairman. He says, well, it says that on the back of your shirt. And he goes, oh my gosh, I'm a repairman. This is the most amusing amusement park because it's broken.
Right.
When you realize that we love to fix, then you'll look for things that are broken and you'll see it as opportunities and something to celebrate.
So Rabbi, our whole lives are just about fixing things?
Well, that could sound pretty depressing if you don't know who you are. If you realize that you're a fix-it man, well then you enjoy and you see great opportunity in fixing things that are broken. You're not afraid to find the problems. You're not afraid to address the issues because you realize that that's what really makes life interesting. So unfortunately, people don't realize that we've come to fix the world and fix ourselves, but people are looking for a quick fix.
Right.
It's not a quick fix. You don't even want a quick fix because remember, it's about the journey. It's about the process of the fixing. It's kind of interesting when you think about it. We don't call paintings painteds. We call it paintings. We don't call buildings builts. We call them buildings. Because we enjoy the journey. We love the constant, infinite opportunity to grow more. But we grow through overcoming, and identifying, and fixing the problems and moving on more and more.
That's very nice. Well, it sounds like that could give us the confidence to really look inside our bags and look at the garbage that we all have to fix. Thank you very much, Rabbi. I appreciate it. Thank you at home for watching us, and we invite you to come back next time.